Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning. It is great to see everyone. I am sorry for being so late today. I took something to try to reset my sleep schedule last night. I did get up and get working earlier, but then, it dragged me back down, and then it was hard to get re-going again this morning. So sorry about that, but thank you to everyone who is here on the a little bit, even though it's a little bit later here this morning. We're going to be talking about the Shadows of Brimstone. This was it's taken us a while to kind of go through some of these adventure games, and so since I wasn't able to get a hold of the League of Dungeoneers, this was probably going to be the last one that we take a look at in great detail. Unless there's something else that we really need to look at. But I was kind of keeping notes of different adventure games. We did an unboxing. Come to think of it, as I'm sitting here thinking about another one. We did an unboxing originally of The Darkest Dungeon. Is that kind of in this vein? I guess it is. Kind of. Darkest Dungeon. We did an unboxing of that when I got that in, and I've still really wanted to play that, but I don't actually I don't know how to play, so who knows? Maybe that would be one to look at. I think it's kind of a cooperative dungeon crawler. I'm not sure if it's kind of in the Warhammer Quest kind of area or not. Has anyone played that one? But I keep taking it to people's houses and trying to break it out and see how to play, but I have not had success yet. Maybe if I went through and learned how to play, I'd have greater success than that. So let's see here. Good morning. Robert's been working on the AI core what 5.0 5th edition rulebook for 5th edition game. There is so much going on in AI. I meant to post something in the Discord server about the AI for creatives last night. There's so much going on that every day I sit down. I've been working on other things for the past past few days, but every time I sit down, it feels like at the computer in the evening, sit back down, there is some type of new YouTube video about something that's been released. In fact, yesterday I was looking at Claude. The Claude released the beta of the AI being able to use the computer like we do, scroll and click and type out text and things like that. And I've got to read about it, but I haven't gotten to look into it further. That's still early, but man, we really need that. But there's so much going on, I can't even keep track of it. I'm looking forward to going on. I'm hoping at November 1st to be able to start writing again, and then I want to create new videos out of what I'm going to be writing. And like I said, every day there's something new that I think is making that even easier and better. But so Robert says AI game update: boss random coordinates now plots course to nearest unvisited room, making traveling to the next boss room always possible. Need to generate next artifact and stated boss upon entry. Also to put block from picking up artifact or other items when monsters are hostile. Thus, we'll need to make it necessary to defeat monsters and boss to advance through the game. That's the equivalent of can't search with monsters in the room, right? Hey, Zero, good to see you. Hope the meeting is all right. Good morning, PH, and good morning, Charlie, and good morning, BGD. Great to see you. Good morning. So anyway, all right. So I don't have a major report on anything going on this morning because I had to do, I think I told you, a whole bunch of number crunching and boring work for a while, and then I ended up ended up deciding to put together a job application. And it's been a long time since I've done one of those, so I had to gather all the material and update all of my stuff. And so, but I got a job application in, so that was good. But now I'm going to be returning to creative work today, so I'm going to be working on that. I hope all today, so maybe Sunday we'll have some updates on some things. Has anyone played this one? Shadows of Brimstone. Wild West Cthulhu. Wild West horror. I have, I think twice. I think I've played this game twice and really enjoyed it. I kind of wasn't necessarily expecting to. I didn't know what it was in. Just everybody, all the friends were getting together to play it. So I was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. You have fun anyway, regardless of what the game is, most of the time, 90% of the time. I guess there's some games that could ruin it. But, you know, when you're getting together with friends, and one of the friends went all in on the Shadows of Brimstone Kickstarter, and so wanted to play it. And so, all right, we all got together and we played it. And I had a great time. I mean, it's not a theme, I think, necessarily that I would have picked up. So it says, you know, an Old West horror board game for 1 to 4 players, ages 12 and up. But it's very much in the style of these, the adventure games like we have been looking at. So PH says, I haven't played it, but I know it. I really liked it. So here is what's going on with it. It says it's the mid-1880s in the southwest United States, and the small mining town of Brimstone has just found dark stone up in the hills, a new precious mineral with magical properties. Rarer than gold and more dangerous. Digging for it greedily, prospectors came from all around, not knowing the consequences of their actions until it was too late. In a flash, the town of Brimstone was consumed, the epicenter of a cataclysmic magical explosion, ripping open portals to other worlds down in the mines and unleashing a great darkness to spread across the land. New hordes of demons pour from the mines to ravage the countryside, and the sky grows black with swarms of nightmarish creatures descending on unwary travelers in the night. While most flee in terror, some heroic individuals come forward to help hold back the darkness, fighting their way into the mines to seal those gateways and maybe find a fortune of their own along the way. BGD says, this concept sounds outstanding, and I'm not even a big board game fan. So Shadows overview. Shadows of Brimstone is a fast-paced cooperative. So this one's cooperative, which we're really interested in, or I've been interested in looking at. Fast-paced cooperative dungeon crawling board game set in the Old West. Hey, good morning, Mike. And mixed with the unspeakable horror. Each player creates a character, takes on the role of a classic Western hero archetype, such as the lawman, bandito, rancher, or saloon girl. Forming a posse of heroes, the players take their characters down into the mines in the foothills surrounding the demonically overrun town of Brimstone. The heroes can embark on a variety of different missions, from finding and sealing a gateway to another world, to rescuing a farmer's son who was hauled off in the night by a horrible creature. The heroes explore a dynamically generated mine. Oh, okay, I didn't remember that. So we do have a dynamically generated mine here. We want to take a look at the mechanics for that. Where was I? Dynamically generated mine, overcoming dangerous encounters and fighting savage creatures while collecting up useful gear and ancient artifacts to help them during their adventures. Heroes can even find portals to the other worlds, stepping through to continue their adventure on the other side. Hero characters can be kept from game to game in a campaign system, earning experience and going up in levels to increase their skill and gain new abilities. The heroes can also visit local frontier towns between adventures, spending their hard-earned loot and resupplying for the next mission. So load up your six-shooter, throw your hat on and poncho, and gather the posse. The darkness is coming, and all hell's about to break loose in the shadows of Brimstone. So when the Old West, when the Wild West, the Old West is done right, I really enjoy it. Like we're talking about on Table Talk, Tombstone being one of my favorite movies. So when it's done right, I love it. So this one was done right. This one did. I remember this one does have a lot of monsters on the board at any time. I talked about that when we were talking about Warhammer Quest, I believe it was, that all of a sudden you get all these monsters kind of like dumped onto the board. So you do go through a lot of monsters. You open up rooms, I recall, and there's like tons of monsters inside rooms. So this is fully cooperative for 1 to 4 players. If combining this core set, so this is the core set with another core set, this can be increased to 5 to 6 players. All the players work together against this game itself, and the difficulty is scaled based on the number of heroes taking part in the adventure, which is fantastic. Okay, we also need to look at that because that's an important part of this too, I thought. Multiple different number of possible players, and we want to be able to scale to the number of heroes in the game. So this one's, when was this game created? Let's see, do we have a, oh, this is the first page. Let's see, when was this released? So this one, but this one is a more modern, I mean, obviously it was gotten off of Kickstarter and stuff. This is a more modern kind of game rules. Shadows of Brimstone. Then, for instance, Warhammer 2014. Oh, no, that says Shadows of the Ancients 2014. This must be a new release or something because this says, oh no, that must have been the date that was last updated. Yeah, see, Kickstarter started to say like last update. I want to know when it was originally funded. Somebody probably already has it in the chat now. Anyway, Shadows of Brimstone probably says it on Board Game Geek. Well, that does say Shadows of the Ancients. Is that Shadows of Brimstone, City of Ancients? I don't think that's what we have. That's 2014. Shadows of Brimstone Family. Maybe it is. Because this doesn't say Shadows of the Ancients or anything on it. It just says Shadows of Brimstone. Oh, well, anyway. So, Okay, dice. The game comes with 16 standard 6-sided dice, 8 white and 8 red that should be divided among the players. There are 2 colors of dice included with the intent that the red dice can be used for enemy attacks and the white dice for heroes rolls. Often cards will refer to the terms D6 and D3. D6, we know what that is, and D3, okay, we also know how to turn a D6 into a DC. D6, D3. There are many things in the game that allow you to re-roll one or more die. The important thing to note is that you may not re-roll the same die more than once. We've got an 8-sided die as well. We've got a Peril Die. I don't really remember how to play this. It's been several years since we all got together to play this. Hey, Better with Bacon. Listen, I started late today too, so that's fine. It's just going around. Glad to have you. So we have the Peril Die, special 6-sided die called the Peril Die. This die is marked with the numbers 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. Yep, here we are. The most often used for determining the quantity of enemies during an attack and is represented on cards as a P symbol. So Peril dice, the quantity of enemies. Peril die 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. Wound markers are placed on the heroes and enemies to keep track of how much damage they have taken during the game. These are individual wound markers as well as larger ones representing 5. Of course, we've got insanity. So sanity damage markers. These blue sanity damage markers are placed on heroes to keep track of how much sanity damage they have taken during the game. They're individual sanity damage markers as well as larger markers representing 5 sanity damage each. Dark stone. These are the keep track of the dark stone shards that heroes find on their adventures. Grit is a resource that heroes have that can be used for re-rolling dice, activating special abilities, and adding a burst of speed to your movement. Now, corruption, I do remember, I thought corruption was a great mechanic. It does some weird things to your characters as you progress, which fits perfectly well with this idea of the unknown and, the unspeakable horror, Cthulhu, insanity damage. But not only can you go insane, you can be corrupted. During the game, heroes gain corruption points, slowly pushing them down the path of evil and mutation. Exploration tokens. These markers are placed face down in new rooms discovered as the heroes explore, and when revealed, tell the number of exits a room has, as well as if there are any encounters or enemies to be overcome there. Some have a clue icon. So in the classic, also like Cthulhu investigation kind of gaming theme, we've got these clue icons as well. Side bag tokens. Each hero has a side bag that can carry helpful tokens for them, such as bandages, whiskey, or dynamite. That's exactly what you need. You need your 6-shooter, some bandages, whiskey, and dynamite, and then you're ready to go out and fight the unspeakable horrors. I like that. Scavenged markers. These markers are used to show when a map tile has been successfully scavenged by the heroes for anything of value. Each map tile may only be scavenged once. Revive tokens. These tokens are occasionally used to give heroes an extra chance at survival, allowing a hero that was just KO'd to get back up without long-lasting effects. The depth track. The depth track is used to show how far into the mine the heroes have ventured, as well as showing the progression of darkness as it grows in power and gets closer to escaping the mine, causing the defeat of the heroes. So we've got a darkness marker. This marks the current position of the darkness over the depth track and moves up the track over the course of the game as the darkness tries to escape the mines. Whereas the hero posse marker, this marks the current position of the heroes on the depth track and moves down the track as the heroes explore the mines. Several additional counters have been provided, used for future official content. XP and gold. So we got both of these things. XP and gold are only needed when keeping heroes from one adventure to the next and are gathered in large quantities, so no counters are included for them. Instead, it's recommended that players track the XP and gold by keeping a running total on a piece of paper. This game did have a lot of miniatures, because like I said, a lot of different bad guys can show up on the board at one time. Robert says, I'm working my way through the Cthulhu mythos. Any mention of the Curse of Yig story at the snake cult? In here, I don't know. I don't remember in here. Better with Bacon says, don't drink and operate heavy machinery, but whiskey and dynamite, that's just a great time. Hell, that's just a great time. And it's a hell of a great time, too. You know, someone in the comment section of the cultists, when Rob sees the giant snake, or because he's in the graveyard, I hadn't ever connected that at all to the cult of Yig, but somebody in the story did, or in the comments did, and said, "Oh, we've got the cult of Yig in here." But that, that was kind of ad libbed. That section was ad libbed on, or we were on location outside in the backyard, and that was ad libbed. And I hadn't ever thought about, oh, the snake. There is kind of a allusion to Yig in the cultists, and I had never noticed that until somebody brought that up in the comments. So Shadows of Brimstone CD soundtrack. Oh, I don't remember that at all. Shadows of Brimstone comes with its own CD soundtrack and original music to listen to while you play the game. It does not affect gameplay, but enhances the experience by setting the mood and immersing the players in the game. Let's see. I was just curious to see how many subscribers we've got on the Cultist channel this morning. Let's see. 4,280. People continue to watch. 4,280. So when we last met together, that was on. Oh, it was not on Sunday because I was at the 5K race on Sunday. So last Wednesday. Oh, and of course, last Wednesday I didn't write it down. But last Tuesday. We had 3,881. That's quite an increase in about a week. From 3,881 to 4,280. We'll take it. We'll take it. So kind of monitoring progress that right there. So the relaunch of the Cultists, I think it's going well. We still got to have more email signups, which is what I'm going to be working on today. Now that I'm done with boring work and job application. Okay, cards. So there are many different decks of cards in the game that are used for everything from dynamically generating the mine as you explore it to the enemies you encounter to the cool gear and artifacts you'll find along the way. So most cards have keywords associated with them listed just below the title of the card. The keywords usually do not have any inherent meaning, but are occasionally referenced by other cards and rules. Icons. Each card contains icons that represent various aspects of the card. A full list of these icons can be found in the reference summary at the back of this rule book. Remains in play. Okay, those cards continue to have effect. Discard piles. For each deck of cards in the game, there will also be a discard pile. The discard pile should be formed face up next to the deck and is where the cards from the deck go if they are no longer in play. Any player may look through the discard pile at any time. If the deck ever runs out of cards, shuffle the discard pile thoroughly and reform the deck face down. Some of the deck cards, such as loot and scavenge cards, do not have discard piles, but are rather fully shuffled every time one or more cards need to be drawn. So what kind of cards do we have here? Gear. Gear and artifacts. Gear and artifact cards are special equipment and relics the heroes can find when exploring the mines. They represent everything from common items like rope or bandages to alien artifacts and occult books of lore. When found, these cards stay with the hero and give them the bonuses listed on the card. Excuse me. Starting gear and personal items. Every hero class starts with specific starting gear listed on their hero card sheet. They also draw a single personal item to give them an extra bonus and help to define their personality and backstory a bit more. Hero starting upgrades. Each hero class also has a set of 3 unique starting upgrades that they can choose from. This helps the player to start customizing their hero right from the beginning. Map cards. The map deck is used to randomly generate the mine as the heroes explore. This allows every mine layout to be different. There is one map tile card to represent each map tile in the game. Darkness cards, powerful bonuses for the darkness. These cards cause surprise attacks and boost the power levels of the enemies over the course of the game. Many darkness cards are marked as remains in play, indicating a long-lasting effect. Encounter cards. These cards represent all manner of situations the heroes can find themselves in when exploring the mines. They include everything from underground lakes or waterfalls to having a run-in with an old prospector or a ghostly apparition. Threat cards. When the heroes are attacked, drawing a threat card tells you what types of enemies there are and how many are involved. There are 3 different threat decks that are scaled for the number of heroes playing, as well as epic threats for major fights. Loot cards are used to generate the rewards that heroes get for winning a fight and overcoming certain encounters. Unlike most decks, the loot deck has no discard pile and is fully shuffled before each draw. Kind of like the Hero Quest treasure cards, then, I guess. Oh, I remember Growing Dread. These cards are a representation of the unspeakable horrors that await the heroes in the darkness as the darkness grows in power. They are usually collected over the course of the game, but not revealed until the final fight. World cards. These cards are used as a reference for the global effects of the world the heroes are currently in, as well as drawing a random world card when the heroes find a gate. Lots and lots and lots of different kinds of tiles and stuff in this game. So scavenge. Scavenge cards are used to determine what a hero finds when they scavenge a map tile for anything useful. Oh, so that's different from loot. Oh, the loot cards are used to generate the reward the hero gets for winning a fight or overcoming certain encounters. So that's actually more like the Warhammer Quest cards that tell you what you get after defeating an encounter. Whereas actually the scavenge cards sound more like the Hero Quest treasure cards. The scavenge cards are used to determine what a hero finds when they scavenge a map tile for anything useful. Much like a loot deck, the scavenge deck has no discard pile and is fully shuffled before each draw. So that same mechanic there, though. Other world-specific cards. Each core set also contains all the cards needed for the unique other world included in the set. There are other world-specific decks for artifacts, encounters, map cards, and threats only found while exploring the alien environment. In addition to regular-sized decks, there are several large charts and record sheets displaying the heroes' classes you can choose from, enemies you will face, and various charts for use on your missions while visiting frontier towns between missions. So you do go back to the town, like in Warhammer Quest. You've got the whole town set up, the frontier town that you're going back to in between quests. And I remember rolling on those tables and seeing what kind of happens to you in the same way as the Warhammer Quest. There are 4 large hero character sheets, each detailing the stats and abilities of a hero class the player can choose to play. These character sheets have a male portrait on one side and a female portrait on the other, so players can choose the gender of their hero. Enemy record sheets. There are several double-sided enemy record sheets showing the stats and abilities of the various enemies the heroes might run into during their adventures. These record sheets have the normal version of the enemy on one side, green, and the higher level, brutal version of the enemy on the black, red. These large reference sheets show information for the frontier towns you can travel to between adventures, including the various town locations you can visit, as well as an overhead town map, the charts for depth events, injuries, and madness. Because the corruption and the madness, I remember that having an effect while you were in town. Or you're rolling to see, like, okay, now how many of those counters did you accumulate while you were in the mine? Roll and see, what happens to you now. And I remember somebody growing an eye stalk. Like, I mean, it's pretty fun stuff. Like, I remember somebody was, accumulated enough corruption points that they had grown an eye stalk. We do have map tiles, and you can tell here that these do look more sophisticated as far as their look goes than the square tiles of Warhammer Quest. The game board is made up of a collection of map tiles that hook together with puzzle-style connections. These are the 2 main types of map tiles. There are 2 main types of map tiles, rooms and passages, corridors that connect rooms. There are also small end cap pieces for blocking off room exits that are not doors, and gate end caps for when heroes find a portal to another world. End caps and gates are not considered full map tiles. They simply cap off the main tile they're attached to. All map tiles are double-sided and have the mines on one side and the other world on the other side. We got like the other, it's like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. We got the main world and the other world. A grid of squares is printed on the map tiles, and this is used for movement and moving of models during gameplay. Note that at every puzzle connection on a map tile, there are 2 half spaces. When another map tile is connected, this adds the other half to the other space, creating a complete grid space with half on each map tiles. For game purposes, a model that occupies one of these half and half grid spaces on a puzzle connection counts as being in both map tiles. Okay, that's important. Yes, putting the weird in the Weird West. Eye stalks, exactly. So here is an example of what you need to know in order to play with your hero character. So what kind of stats are they giving us here? Hero characters. Each player must choose what type of classic Old West hero they want to play. These different hero types are called classes. There are 4 different hero classes to choose from included in this core set, including when each hero class has a unique character sheet with all of its basic skills, abilities, starting gear listed on it. Each specific hero class is covered in greater detail in the adventure book. Below is a list of the different elements of a hero character sheet. So here's an example of our lawman. A hero's character class is the classic Old West archetype the character falls into and is the main thematic defining factor for their skills and abilities. B. Keywords. B. Where's B? Oh, right here. A hero's keywords are traits of that character. They do not have any inherent meaning, but rather are referenced by other cards and abilities, such as the restrictions for use of certain items. So this lawman has law and frontier in there for its keywords. To hit values, C. Okay, so we've got to hit values. No, okay, right here, range and melee. When a hero needs to roll, hey, Daniel says, right, yeah, Daniel, come on in. Daniel says, wait, I'm just tuning in. Is this Cowboys versus Cthulhu? That's exactly what it is. This is Old West Cthulhu. That's exactly what it is. It's an adventure game. I think of it as an evolution of the games like Advanced Hero Quest and Hero Quest, Advanced Hero Quest, Warhammer Quest, etc. as we go. So this is a much more modern game, but it's in that same style, which is why we're looking at it as kind of like an adventure dungeon crawling game, but it is definitely Wild West Cthulhu. So we've got to hit values, what you need to hit to roll to hit when making an attack. There are 2 different hit values, one for ranged and one for melee. D is combat. So combat says this is the base number of dice the hero gets to roll when making a melee attack, even if they have no hand-to-hand weapons. They can always throw a punch. And then E, max grit. This is the maximum amount of grit the hero can have at one time. We said the grit powers different special abilities and allows you to re-roll and things like that. So here are our skills that we're using here. We've got 6 different skills that each hero has: agility, cunning, spirit, strength, lore, and luck. Agility, cunning, spirit, strength, lore, and luck. These skills are used for making tests during the game. Initiative. Initiative determines how quick a character is and how early in the game they get to activate. So you have initiative over here. Each turn, models are activated in initiative order from highest to lowest. Abilities. Each hero class has 1 or more special abilities that are an important part of being that hero class. These abilities are not always beneficial, but fundamentally affect how the hero plays. So it says abilities: laying down the law. Once per attack, you may re-roll 1 to hit die. To hit roll. We also have starting items. Given the gear that any character of the hero class always starts their adventuring career with. So this lawman starts with a peacekeeper pistol and a sheriff's badge. And then J, health. A representation of a hero's physical well-being. Health is reduced by taking wounds. If your hero is ever reduced to 0, you are KO'd. So in this case, the lawman has 12. We do keep going here. because defense, every time a hero takes one or more wounds or hits, they may use their defense as a saving roll against each hit to prevent taking the wounds. So we got a saving throw of 4+ over here for the lawman. Sanity is just like health, but for the hero's mental well-being. Sanity is reduced by taking sanity damage, just like health. If your sanity ever reaches 0, you are KO'd. Willpower, just like defense is to health, willpower is a saving throw for sanity to prevent taking sanity damage or corruption. So we also have a sanity roll of 4+ over here. Willpower save of 4+. So grit. Grit is a resource that represents a hero's ability to tough out difficult situations and pull off amazing feats. Dodging a fatal blow at the last minute, or scoring a particularly hard shot, or activating a particularly special ability to save the day, a powerful special ability to save the day. In short, it allows heroes to be heroic. Each hero has grit. They wouldn't be much of a hero without it. So a hero may use grit to do one of the following things. 1, use 1 grit to re-roll any number of dice that you just rolled. Use 1 grit to add an extra d6 to your movement. Use grit to activate a special ability or item that requires it. That's a lot like Warhammer Quest, right? That sounds like Fate in Warhammer Quest. Reroll limit. Grit can be very useful for re-rolling dice when you need to, but it's important to remember that no single die may ever be re-rolled more than once. So, for example, you cannot re-roll all of your misses with grit and then use an ability or spend another grit to re-roll those that still missed. Grit is a very powerful resource, but is limited. Each hero starts the mission with 1 grit, but more can be gained through the adventure. The most common way to recover grit is by rolling a 1 on your move roll. This is covered in greater detail in the hero's activation. Max grit. Each hero class has a max grit listed on their new character sheet. This is generally max grit 2 for most new heroes. Max grit is simply the most grit your hero can have at one time. If you already are at your max grit, you would get to recover grit. You can't hold on to it. You are allowed to immediately spend that new grit instead of just losing it. Okay, so you can immediately spend it if you're entitled to it. This is most often used to activate an ability that costs grit or to gain an extra d6 move for the turn. Okay, it says creating a hero is fast and easy, and so that's what we need here. I would hope that in a game like this it is. But, oh, is it out of print? I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me necessarily, because a lot of games that come to Kickstarter, you don't get, I'm on the website right now, the Flying Frog website. Web store. It looks like, now I'm on the Flying Frog website. It's right here. I've got the Table Talk color on and the color light on the back instead of the Morning Grind color. So Shadows of Brimstone, core products. No, it looks like you can get it. And I don't know which one of these. I'm just looking at something basic here. So Shadows of Brimstone, Forbidden Fortress core set. What? Shadows of Brimstone, City of Ancient Revised Edition. I kept seeing City of Ancients, so that might be. This kind of looks like no. Okay, we got yeah. Looks like Wild West kinds of heroes. So it's there. Or some version of all this is here. I think we found out what better with bacon wants for Christmas. Okay, so but there were several options for your character here. It seemed like you got a lot of customization here. which is fine as long as it doesn't take a lot of time, especially in a game like this. I mean, I talked about I like 15 minutes for a role-playing game. I certainly don't want to spend a lot of time designing a character to start an adventure game with. Creating a new hero. Creating a new hero is fast and easy. It's often just as fun to start a fresh new hero as it is to keep one hero from game to game over a series of adventures. To create a new hero, just follow the following steps. Choose hero class. The most important choice for a new hero is what hero class you want to play. Each hero class has its own unique stats and abilities and a fairly different play style. Choose which hero class your new hero will be. If you are new to the game, each different hero class in the core book is described in the Adventures book. So there's another book that we might look at. This is just the rule book. Each hero class is a small list of starting items printed on their character sheet, and they get all of them for free. Find each item on your hero amongst the starting gear cards. It's important to note that in many ways, the starting gear of a hero is just as important a factor as their abilities and stats. Draw a personal item. Each hero starts their adventuring career with one personal item that not only gives them a powerful bonus, but can help them define the backstory of that hero. Draw one personal item card for your hero. If it's not, it should be. Is Bad Hombre a hero class? If it's not, it should be. When starting a brand new hero, you get to choose one of the 3 hero starting upgrades available to your hero class. I didn't see that on that card. This is one of the 3 unique abilities that help define your hero right from the beginning. Choose wisely, though, as the other 2 upgrades you don't pick will not be available later. I didn't see when we were looking at the Lawman here. I was kind of looking for that, what his upgrades are. I don't really see that. I'm not sure what his upgrades would be. Maybe they're cards or something. Get a side bag and a free token. Take a side bag card for your hero. Each hero has a side bag that can hold up to 5 tokens in it. A new hero also gets to choose 1 token to start for free. Choose from whiskey, bandages, or dynamite. Name your hero. Lastly, you should choose a name fitting for your hero and pick something good. You'll never know if that name will become a legend throughout the West. Here's our game setup. So this is a lot of stuff that's sitting out there on the table. To set up for an adventure, complete the following steps in the order listed. This covers everything needed to start the basic mission, A Fistful of Darkstone. Isn't that great? First mission, A Fistful of Darkstone, and includes preparing the card deck, shuffling the exploration tokens, placing the mine interests, and getting the heroes ready to go. Some later missions have slightly different setups as noted in their entry in the adventure book. Looks like this is all the player character stuff over here, their main card, their side bag, their equipment over here. We got that darkness track over here, starting tile, all of our different cards over here, reference cards over there. Do we need to say anything? Shuffle all the decks. Prepare all of the 12 exploration tokens and create a stack of them someplace. Oh, Lantern is also in here. So ready the heroes. Prepare each hero, because that's also, as we've talked about, seeing this Lantern all the time, right? In these types of games, prepare each hero that will be taking part. If these new heroes, make sure each one of them is ready to go using the previous steps. One hero gets the old Lantern card in addition to his other gear. The players may choose who will take this at the start of each adventure. Select a mission for your first game. This will be A Fistful of Darkstone. Prepare the depth track. Place the depth track where all the players can see it, and position the darkness marker on the darkness start and the hero posse on the mine entrance space. Place the mine entrance, and then lastly, place the hero models on that central map tile. So here we go. The starting area of the mine entrance tile includes the back row of 4 spaces as well as the 2 center spaces in the second row. The heroes can be positioned in any of these 6 spaces and should be placed in initiative order from highest to lowest. The number of heroes taking part in an adventure determines the difficulty and quantity of enemies you will be facing. This is scaled in 2 ways, with low, medium, and high threat decks for enemies, as well as with revive tokens to help fewer heroes survive a little longer. So difficulty scaling. The chart below shows the threat deck that will be used. So we've got multiple decks. We don't have multiple entries on one deck. We've got multiple decks. how many revive tokens the heroes have available to them based on the number of heroes playing. Heroes 1, low threat, 2 revive. 2 heroes, low threats, 1 revive. 3 is medium threats, 1 revive. 4 medium threats. 6 high threat, 1 revive. So I guess you get to share out that whoever needs it. Both threat decks and revive tokens are covered in greater detail later. Okay, so it says, for your first game, a couple of the slightly more advanced elements will be left out to make it easier to get the hang of things. Epic threat fights and gates to the other world will not be used. If the encounter card Gateway to Another World is rolled, then redraw. Note, it may be tempting to just use everything right away, but there's enough to wrap your mind around without getting the basics down that it really is worth playing the game a game or two before diving in the deep end. A Fistful of Darkstone. In the introductory mission, A Fistful of Darkstone, the heroes have heard a rumor of a vast deposit of Darkstone buried down in one of the local mines, and they have come to find their fortune. To find the Darkstone deposit, the heroes must explore this mine and find 2 exploration tokens with that exclamation point clue token on them. The first clue lets them know they are on the right track, while the second clue is the actual deposit itself. When the second clue icon is revealed, ignore any encounter or attack on the token, as well as any door icons. The objective room has no exits. Instead, the heroes must draw a high threat card, red, to fight, as a large group of creatures has been attracted by the Darkstone. Reward. If all the enemies in the final room are defeated, the heroes have completed the mission and they may collect each of the Darkstone, much of the Darkstone they can find. A hero gains 25 XP and D3 Darkstone tokens. Let's see. Depth track. I think this is kind of neat. Okay, so the depth track, we got the heroes going down, but we've got the darkness coming up. So the depth track represents the general path of the mine and tracks how deep the hero posse has journeyed and how close the darkness is to escaping the mine and wreaking havoc on the countryside, resulting in failure for the heroes. At the start of the game, the hero posse marker is placed at the mine entrance space at the far left, while the darkness marker is placed on the darkness space on the far right. During the course of the game, the hero posse marker moves down the track every time a new map tile is placed, as the heroes travel deeper and deeper into the tunnels. The darkness marker moves in the opposite direction, up the track, as the heroes fail to hold the darkness at bay. So the depth track is broken into 3 stages, and each stage has a printed value at the bottom, 7+, 8+, and 9+. As the hero posse moves down the track, it passes through these different stages, making it progressively harder for the heroes to hold back the darkness. Generally, these stages only matter for the current position of the hero posse, not the darkness marker. Whereas, okay, so holding back the darkness. At the start of each turn, the hero with the old lantern must roll the hold back the darkness test. The hero rolls 2d6 and adds them together. If the number is equal to or greater than the value needed, listed at the bottom stage, so this is something that's happening every turn, so this is one of the things that might encourage you to keep going as far as making time a factor. The hero rolls 2d6 and adds them together. If the number is equal to or greater than the value needed, listed at the bottom of the stage of the hero posse marker is currently in, the darkness has been held and the marker does not move this turn. If the roll is less than the value needed, the darkness moves 1 step forward on the track, closer to the mine entrance. Okay, so you're not drawing a card, at least at first. You're moving the marker. Grit may not be used to re-roll a hold back the darkness test. Blood splatter and growing dread spaces on the track. So we got blood splattered tracks and growing dread. There are 2 special types of spaces on the depth track: blood splatter spaces and growing dread spaces. Blood splatter spaces, when a darkness marker moves onto a blood splatter space, that's the darkness marker, the heroes must immediately draw a darkness card as the darkness has grown stronger. Growing dread spaces, when the darkness marker moves onto a growing dread space, the heroes must draw a growing dread card as the deadly nature of the hero's mission sinks in. These special types of spaces on the depth track only matter for the darkness marker, not the hero posse marker. Anytime the hero with the old lantern rolls a natural doubles for the hold back the darkness test, a depth event has occurred. Even if the roll would normally have failed, instead of moving the darkness marker, consult the depth event chart to see what has happened. The depth event chart can be found on one of the large racks. So there's a lot that could possibly happen with this rolling with the hold back the darkness. It says there are 6 possible results in the chart, and the event that occurred is the one listed for the double number that was rolled. Double ones, 1 on the chart, double twos, 2, etc. This is usually something bad that has happened. All right. So the game turn, and this is cooperative, so there's no game master or Zargon or anything like that. Each game turn has 4 steps that are completed in the following order: hold back the darkness, 2 models activate in initiative order, 3 room exploration, 4 end of turn. Once all 4 steps are complete, a new game turn begins. Hold back the darkness. As noted above, at the start of each turn, the hero that has the old lantern must hold back the darkness. This test occurs at the start of each turn, even during a fight. Do you move that down every turn? Or do you move that as you're moving through the tiles? Did it tell us that? Did it tell us when to move the posse marker? I don't think it's told us yet. Because the longer the adventure goes, right, the harder it is to hold the darkness back. Models activate in initiative order. After the hold the back the darkness test is complete, each model is activated in order of initiative from highest to lowest. It'd be nice to sit in order of initiative. A model's initiative can be found in the upper right corner of the hero sheet or the enemy record sheet. During most turns of the game, only heroes will be on the board as they explore the mines. During a fight, however, activations will be intermixed between heroes and enemies based on their relative initiative scores. More on enemies and fights later. Heroes that are tied for initiative may decide to go which one goes first, and this may be changed from turn to turn. Room exploration. When the heroes discover a new room tile, it has an exploration token placed on it. Exploration tokens like this are revealed and resolved during the room exploration step. After all models have been activated and new rooms have been explored, anything that occurs at the end of the turn happens. If there are multiple effects that trigger at the end of turn, the heroes may decide which order to play them in. So when a hero is activated, they may move and then either search or make an attack. Searching may not be done during a fight, as the heroes are a little busy. We were just talking about that. So we only have move and then move and search or move and attack. At the start of a hero's activation, the first thing they should do is roll a single die for movement. So like Hero Quest or movement, we're moving by die. The hero may move a number of spaces up to the amount rolled on the die. Models have no facing and can move forward, back, side to side, even diagonally. Models may not move through other models or through walls and may only move into valid spaces on the board. It must be at least 50% of a full space to be considered a valid space. The 2 half spaces on the open-ended puzzle connections on a map tile are considered to be doorways, and models may move onto these half spaces. If a hero rolls a 1 on a move roll, they may recover 1 grit. This is the main method for heroes getting grit during the game. If a hero is already at their max grit, they may immediately use the new grit on the spot, usually to add an extra d6 to their movement. Note that using grit to add an extra d6 to your movement does not let you recover another grit if you roll a 1 on that d6. It's simply extra movement, not a move roll. Oh, thank you, BGD. Yes, please do hit the like button here. So map tile puzzle connections. It's important to note that a hero standing on a puzzle connection space between 2 map tiles counts as being on both map tiles. James says the bad hombre hero class can attack and search. So movement example, this hero A moves 4, okay. The old lantern and voices in the dark. The light from the old lantern is the only safety from the shadows. Again, very similar to things we've seen before here. It illuminates the map tile the hero carrying it is currently on, as well as every adjacent map tile. Any hero starting their activation on a map tile that is not within the old lantern's light on the same or adjacent map tile as the lantern begins hearing voices in the dark, slowly driving them mad. That hero immediately takes D6 horror hits. So you don't die. Like Warhammer Quest, I think, was pretty brutal in that if you're out of the light, you're like immediately die. But here you're taking horror hits as the darkness is driving you insane, which I think is pretty cool. Searching. There are two different types of searching a hero can do at the end of their movement when not in a fight: scavenging and looking through a door. Note that you may do either of these things, not both. So any hero that ends their movement on a map tile that has not yet been successfully scavenged may attempt to search the area of anything of value. To scavenge a map tile, roll 3 dice. If any of the dice roll a 6, you have successfully scavenged the area and found something. Place a scavenged marker on the map tile to show that it may not be scavenged again, and draw one of the cards from the scavenged deck for each 6 rolled. Oh, okay. We haven't seen a mechanic like that for basically searching for treasure. Roll 3 dice. For every 6 rolled, draw a card, a scavenged card. As noted before, there's no discard pile for the scavenged deck. Each time a hero needs to draw 1 or more scavenged cards, shuffle the entire deck back together and then draw any cards needed. Note the scavenged deck is approximately 1/3 good, 1/3 bad, and 1/3 nothing. So scavenging may not always end up being a benefit to your hero, but it's usually fun to try. A hero may not scavenge a map tile with an unrevealed exploration token on it, and you may only scavenge 1 map tile per turn. Any map tile may be scavenged, whether it's a room, passage, or even the mine entrance. End caps and gates are not considered full map tiles and may not be scavenged. Alternatively, when looking through the door, open-ended puzzle connections in the map tile are considered to be doors. A hero that ends their movement on one of these open-ended puzzle connection half spaces may search by looking through the door to see the next map tile. Draw a map card and place the map tile shown on the next piece of the board connecting the door that the hero is looking through. The new green arrow on the card shows the entrance to the new map tile that should be connected to the door. I need an example of that. If the new map tile cannot be placed because it would overlap an existing map tile, discard it and draw a new map card. Oh, here we go. Whenever a new map tile is placed, move the hero posse marker 1 step forward on the depth track, showing their progression deeper into the mine. So it's when it's revealed, whenever a new one is revealed. Gotcha. The hero posse marker will no longer move if it ever reaches the darkness start space of the depth track. Note the heroes may not look through doors while there are enemies on the board, as searching cannot be performed during a fight. A hero is allowed to make 1 attack during their activation. This is covered later during fights. Exploration. Exploration is a big part of Shadows of Brimstone and allows the heroes an element of discovery as they pick their way through the dark halls and rooms of the underground mines. Rooms and exploration tokens. There are 2 types of map tiles, passages and rooms. Passages are short pathways that simply connect different areas of the mine. Rooms, on the other hand, often hold encounters or enemies the heroes must fight. Whenever a map tile is drawn or placed, draw an exploration token without looking at it and place it face down on the map tile. Passages do not contain exploration tokens and are labeled as such on their individual map cards. Once a map tile is placed, the heroes that look through the door will be standing in a puzzle connection space that's half of each tile. As noted above, they're on both tiles. This means that during room exploration setup of the turn all heroes have activated, this exploration token will be revealed, and there will be at least 1 hero on the map tile with it. Okay, so you might be number 2 of 5 to go. Okay, I'm exploring over here, but you don't reveal what you're exploring until everybody else gets to go. That you reveal the tile, but you don't reveal the exploration token. When you reveal the exploration token, when an exploration token is revealed, flip it over so that all players can see what has been discovered. An exploration token has 3 important pieces of information: door gate icons showing the number of exits the room has, encounters or attacks, and if there are any clues for the hero's current mission. There's also one particularly evil exploration token that adds a Growing Dread card to the stack. More on Growing Dread later. So door and gate icons. At the top of the exploration token, you will find one or more door icons. I'm not. Maybe that's it. Maybe this is it up here. I guess those kind of look like doors. Like this ambush attack has 2 of those symbols. It looks like this encounter has 3. I bet that's what that is. So if there are 2 door icons on the token, there will be 2 random puzzle connection doors left open in the room. On the map card for the room, each potential exit is marked with a set of numbers to help randomly determine where the doors are to be left open. For each door icon, roll a die and consult the map card to determine where the doors will be. Roll again if it already has a door there. Each puzzle connection exit is not a door should be closed off using an end cap piece. The map card, okay, has those numbers on it. Okay. Note that some exploration tokens have a gate icon among the door icons. In the basic game, treat these as normal doors in every way. In the advanced game, these gates represent a portal to another world that's open and the heroes can step through to continue their exploration on the other side. Exploration tokens will always lead to encounters or an attack, both of which are covered later. So here is our green Growing Dread encounter. There's one exploration token that's particularly nasty, adding a Growing Dread card to the stack in addition to being an encounter. Clue icons. Many of the exploration tokens have a clue icon on them, representing important bits of information that help the players on their mission. Clue icons have different meanings based on the particular mission being played, as described in the mission entry of the adventure book. Finding the objective. When the final clue icon needed is found, or whatever the particular mission calls for is discovered, the heroes have found their objective. This usually means the heroes ignore any door icons and counter attacks for the final exploration token. The Growing Dread exploration token would still add the Growing Dread card. Instead, the heroes have reached their goal and must face a final fight with a larger or meaner group of enemies. In the advanced game, this comes in the form of an epic threat final boss. In the introductory admission, it means fighting a high threat red enemy card. To win the mission, the heroes must find the objective and defeat the enemies guarding it as detailed in the particular mission being played. I mean, I think this is pretty neat. I mean, especially since it's available. We did have a good time with it. But there are 2 ways for you to fail. All heroes are KO'd. If all the heroes are ever KO'd at the same time, the mission immediately ends in failure. The heroes are considered to escape, but must all still roll for injuries and madness. Darkness escapes. If the darkness marker ever reaches the mine entrance space on the depth track, the darkness escapes the mine and lays waste to the countryside. The mission is failed and the heroes must head home in defeat. Sometimes things look pretty grim. If all the heroes agree, at least all those that are not yet KO'd at the start of any turn, the hero posse may elect to flee from the mine. This may be done before anything else in the turn happens. All of the heroes, including those that are KO'd, escape the mine, and the mission is considered to have been failed. Any heroes that were not KO'd still need to roll for injury and madness. Let's take a look at Darkness and the Growing Dread, and then we'll call it for the day, and I'm going to start working on some other things. Let's see. So the Darkness cards. The Darkness cards are evil events that cause enemies to leap from the shadows, cave-ins, or supernatural events to occur, or allow the darkness to steadily grow in power with cards that remain in play. Darkness cards are pretty much always bad for the heroes. There are 2 main ways for Darkness cards to be drawn during the game, where the Darkness marker reaches the blood splatter space on the depth track, or whenever a card's game text instructs the players to do so. Usually by scavenge or encounter cards. When a Darkness card is drawn, it's read aloud to all the players, starting with the card title, and its game effect is resolved. Once complete, the card is discarded, unless it is marked remains in play. Growing Dread. So Darkness is different from Growing Dread. We've got multiple ways for things to get worse. Growing Dread cards are dark and powerful events that can spell doom for the heroes. Unlike Darkness cards, they are usually not played immediately when drawn. Instead, whenever a Growing Darkness card is drawn, it's placed face down without looking at it, in a stack near the depth track. Growing Dread cards are always added to the top of the stack and can be fanned apart a little so players can see how many cards are present. In this way, it creates an impending feeling of doom over the course of the game as more cards get added to the stack, with each being potentially deadly. When the objective is found for the current mission, but before any threat cards are drawn or enemies placed, the cards in the Growing Dread stack are revealed and resolved one at a time, starting from the top of the stack. Canceling Growing Dread. The heroes are not helpless, though. A Growing Dread may be canceled if all the heroes in the posse collectively use 1 grit each, not including heroes that are KO'd. This may be done while a Growing Dread card is still face down, cancel the top card of the stack, or once it has been revealed. I guess you would want to reveal it. Making things harder for the final fight. Like I said, I thought it was a pretty cool game, and I did enjoy playing it. All right. Well, I guess that is it for today. I have enjoyed it. I hope you have. So I'm going to go and get some more work done. I'm not going into the winery today. So I'm going to enjoy myself and work on some creative adjacent things, trying to get ready to be writing at the 1st of November, doing unofficial NaNoWriMo. We'll talk more about that maybe Sunday. But then, get some stuff done so I can start writing in November. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. Go forth, be creative, and be constructive. I'll see you later.